And poor old David, this is the last time you'll be last, I promise. Well, until the next time. We are going to turn them around, and I've just been saying to Mary that what we'll do in the future is move the people that have no Part A's. We'll move them first, and we may even move the Chief Executive's report and the Mayor's report to the end of the community boards. But I mean, we kind of wanted them at the beginning so that everyone could hear. But you know, it does make for a long morning for people that have got busy lives.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'll take the report as read, just with 4 points to draw your attention to. Thank you, first of all, to Marianne and the team, and also from the Riccarton, Hornby, Hallswell area for the Culture Galore, very successful event about 3-4 weeks ago. We are doing consultation on the LTP, as would be expected, with a successful day at the Bishopdale supermarket the other day, where the points that are being raised are obviously their intersection in our ward that's under discussion, and also around the annual general charge and how that's applied. And if it is at all updated, since it hasn't been done for a while, I believe. Good news story on the Lions Barbecue. You may recall from last meeting, there has been a location found in the Burnside Park, which is in agreement with the local Lions group, and they're very happy about that. So I believe that's their 100-year gift to the city for that particular club. And also, just you will see in the report, antisocial behaviour at Lake Rota, which is in behind the back of the airport. Significant amount of vandalising and damage to council property out there. We don't believe that we can, well, there's no record of anybody being trespassed out there by council enforcement, so it's something which we are wanting to sort of see. There's obviously it's a lot of ratepayers' money going into fixing fences and wasted time, staff time. Thank you.
I wanted to take the opportunity to congratulate this community board for the initiative of taking the annual plan out to supermarkets and malls. You know, what a brilliant way to engage the public in a process that perhaps they wouldn't otherwise get involved in. So I just wanted to give you big ups for that. That's fantastic.
Thank you, I'll pass that on.
Yeah, no, it's just a great move, and I'd encourage others to do the same. You don't need to wait to be invited to do this. You can just go ahead and do it as what you've proved, and really appreciate it. Glenn, Pauline and Andrew.
Thank you, David. Thank you. I've attended the March meetings over the proposed stock transfer. This is 8.2, page 263, including the one in Brindwa. And obviously when someone's security of tenure is threatened, there is anxiety as reported there. So I guess this is a wee heads up to the council. There will be, you know, as you'd expect, a political expression of that in the coming weeks by various people in the community, and I guess my own view on it would be to ensure that there is local public ownership around housing. So there is a preference by many to ensure that the state keeps it in ownership, but if that transfer goes ahead, I think, yeah, we will need to ensure that it is kept in local public ownership. And you'll notice this is an issue that is definitely the forefront.
Our ward does have the second largest state housing in the city, a point which is often overlooked, and obviously it's been dealt with by central government, and it's in process, so as it goes on we'll keep monitoring it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yep, Pauline, Andrew, then Phil.
Yeah, look, my one is just taking the opportunity to ask you a question about the Bishopdale documentary project.
Yes.
So they obviously came to the board and
talked to you.
And I just want to ask you if you might be able to suggest something, and Reihua Marae, which is now in your jurisdiction, if they would be interested in having a look there, because I've been to I was lucky enough to hear Uncle Terry Ryan walk through the whare and actually explain in the most amazingly eloquent terminology, the whole history of every meaning of all those weavings and things up there. And I would love that to be documented and recorded, and I think that would fit really well into what they're doing here. So I'm wondering if you may be able to
We can pass that on.
talk to them about that. He's getting on now, and someone needs to really move on getting him documented in that marae, because the history of that marae with the original Māori apprenticeship
training.
programs
Yeah,
and
it's fantastic
things.
story.
I'd love to see that recorded, and I'd love to see him recorded live doing that, because he's absolutely spellbinding to listen to.
I can see Mary Ann nodding, so
Yeah?
it will be done.
Thank you.
It's, can I just slip in here, and I'm sorry to do this because I can, is that the multicultural strategy is going to be launched at Rehua Marae on the 13th of May in the morning, so you'll all get your invitations. I've just signed off on them recently. And but it was going to be at Ngāhau Whā for a number of reasons, but the Four Winds represents very well the multicultural strategy. But it's going under a restoration at the moment, so there's a lot of work going on there, so it's not available. But Rehua tells another story, which is about Māori trade training and bringing Māori from other parts of New Zealand. So in fact it tells a very similar story, but it's it might be an opportunity for colleagues to engage with the marae in the context of the release of the multicultural strategy. Just a free advertisement that I had. Andrew and then Phil.
Thank you. Good to see the piece in here at 6.5 on the Bishopdale Men's Shed. I'm familiar with the Men's Shed from the work that they did creating the social housing planter boxes. Caught up with a number of members of this group at the various social housing openings over the last couple of years. And I'm a big supporter of Men's Sheds, not only for what they do creatively, but what they also do socially. Good to see that they've managed to resolve their accommodation issue. Has that move now taken place?
I don't believe it has. It's part of the new library. No, it will.
No, they're in Kendall Scouting
So
now.
they've already moved?
Yes, they have. And
That's
they've
really
fitted it
good
out.
news.
It's fantastic. Go and
Excellent.
visit them.
Thank you.
Yep, Phil.
My question's also about the success of the men's shed at Bishopdale, and also though I'm aware, like Andrew, there's a number of men's sheds in different parts of the city, and clearly there are a community development where blokes want to establish men's sheds, and it's great. It's just how, in fact, can we sort of how can council support filling the gaps really, where there's a lot of areas where we don't have them, and yet there would be blokes who might go along. Have you got any suggestions, perhaps Mary Ann too, as to how council might further support the
Yeah, it's probably a question best directed to the Men's Shed. I mean, we can do what we can to help them, but their long-term growth strategy is probably best answered by them.
Perhaps.
Yep.
Very good. All right. Well, I shall put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That's carried. Oh, did I not have a mover and a seconder? No. Sorry, Jamie and Aaron. Yes? Good.
Thank you very much. Happy Easter to everybody.
Thank you. The next one is the Innovation and Sustainable Development Committee recommendation to Council.
Can we just take time